All right, everybody. Welcome into what is totally an experiment. I am not sure how this is going to go, but it's something that I've wanted to do for a while. So thank you guys for joining. I'm going to wait just a second here and let everybody get connected. Um, let's see how this goes. Good morning to everybody, or depending on where you are in the world, good afternoon, good evening. If you're here watching already, let me know where you're from in the world. Like I said, I'm going to give this just a moment here, and then we'll get everything rolling. Awesome, I see some locations coming in. Exciting to see you guys here. Thank you so much for joining. This should be fun. So let me switch over here on my other screen just to double check I got everything rolling. All right, so I've been asked a number of times about this video after the stream, and yes, definitely it will be available. There is going to be a link that YouTube automatically generates after this stream ends, and it will be in the Permaslug YouTube account. If you click on the videos tab, I think you have to switch it to live as well. There's like a videos and then a live tab, or maybe it's live, one of the two. It's not immediately clear where it lives, but if you guys have any questions, just message me, email or something like that, or on Facebook, and I'll be happy to send it to you guys. We have people from all over the world: Italy, Germany, Poland, Amsterdam, Tallahassee, fellow Floridian. Good morning, Chris. Excited to see all you guys. So let's go ahead and get this rolling. I wanted to walk through just quickly what I have. So if you guys watched my video yesterday, you'll notice that this site is exactly the same as that one. So there is currently nothing on this site in terms of design in the Oxygen side of things. So basically what I do is I clone kind of like a default WordPress install in Cloudways, who I use as my host. And with that, it has all the standard plugins that I typically use. So I'll just walk through that real quick and kind of show you what that is. So for the most part, I use pretty much the same things, regularly. Hopefully this doesn't go slowly. I click the plugins tab and it's it's taking its sweet time here. So with that, basically what I do is have, pretty much all of these plugins are what I use on basically every site, regardless of complexity or, the end outcome. So with these, I've walked through almost all of them on the channel before. I don't think there's anything that you guys probably haven't seen. Some of these WP MuDev plugins you may not prefer, but that's just what I've stuck with for quite a while and have been happy with. So basically the first place we're going to start off with is the Adobe XD mockup. Let me move that over here to this screen. And so with XD, I'm definitely not an expert in this, but when it's set up properly, you kind of have this cool little artboard. And so this is the mockup that we were looking at yesterday in the video that I posted. And with that, what I'm going to do is start off by going to my main template in Oxygen, setting up my global colors, picking my fonts, and then we'll just use that as kind of our foundational element there. So let's take a look real quick. I don't even know what font this is. So this says Gilroy? Is that even a font? I've never heard of that. It doesn't look like I see Gilroy. Maybe that's not what it actually is. What is that? Missing font. Okay, so maybe it's a font that was downloaded, unfortunately, that I don't have, but we'll just work around that. It kind of looks like, what is that? Like, I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember what that font is called. Poppins. The Google font Poppins is what I'm trying to think of. What about this one? That one also says Gilroy. That's so weird because, I don't know. Let's Google that real quick. You guys are going to see my process here in real time. Oh yeah, it looks like it is. I don't really want to get into installing font. It's not something I had anticipated, to be perfectly honest. We'll come back to that, and maybe I'll do that, but I don't really want to bother with an external font. If it was Adobe or Google, I could do that. What about, let's see, Gilroy font Adobe. Let's see if it's in there. No. Maybe something similar. We'll just find something similar. I don't want to waste a bunch of time on fonts because that's not something that I typically do. So anyway, We will find a font similar to that. If you guys have a recommendation, let me know. But we'll start off by going into the main template here and getting those global colors set up. So inside of Oxygen templates, I'm going to go to my all pages template here. And then if you guys have any questions as we're going through here, please feel free to ask. I can see the chat over on my other screen, and I can definitely try to slow down a little bit if you guys have any specific questions. So I'm just going to go over here to my settings, global styles, colors. I have the core design set on pretty much all of my sites just to have as a backup. But I'm going to go into global colors, and let's throw in those XD ones. So just get the color out of here. I'm not an XD expert, as I already mentioned, so if you guys are watching me fumble through this, I apologize. I'm just going to call this one lime green, and then we'll add that guy. It's a little bit tedious here, but we'll just make it work. What is this one, like a camo green, like an army camo green. And then last but not least is what, basically like almost navy black. What is that? Like a navy-ish. That's what I'm going to call it. Navy-ish. Add color. Okay, so now we have our 3 global colors, and like, you know, you guys have seen before, I'm addicted to saving in this. So let's go to our fonts now. And then I like that suggestion from Montserrat. I'll just do that font all the way around. We can always change that later, but easy to set up now and fix it after the fact. So here in this all pages template, like you guys have seen me do, this is like my main template for the whole site. So the all pages is going to have my header, my footer, and my inner content. With this particular template, it's only currently set to apply to pages, and that's pretty much always how I do it. So we're going to start off by building the header. So let's take a look at our mockup real quick here. And what I need to do is consider that this kind of layout with this large photo in this particular mockup is just going to be for the home page. So I've been thinking about how I can do this so that I don't have to build 2 separate templates, you know, one for the inner pages and one for the main template. And I think what I'm probably going to do is have one main div as my wrapper, have a second one that is in my, well, that's probably not going to work actually. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do this, because basically all that I want is just like a shrunk version for the inner pages. So instead of it taking up, you know, let's say this is like 75 VH or whatever, I only want the inner pages to be maybe like a third of that, and we'll just have the page title in the top of the page there. So I think what I'll probably do is maybe just have 2 separate divs. So let's just go ahead and start building this one here. So I'm going to move this over to my other screen, so just keep that in mind. I'll probably be clicking back and forth a couple of times here. So I'm going to move this over real quick. I want to be able to still see the chat over there. All right. So we're going to start off with just, actually we're going to use a section, because the section you can change the tag to a header, which I typically like to do. I'm not sure that it makes really that much of a difference from like an SEO perspective or whatever, but that's what I typically like to do. The other thing that I forgot to do is set the page width. So I need to look at what it is in my mockup here. So let's take a look. The page width is 1366, so quite a bit wider than the default Oxygen page width. And that actually looks a lot more filled out on the page, so I do like that quite a bit. So to answer your question, I've seen it pop up a couple times. Yes, it will be recorded and it will be available on YouTube. The process is automatic, so I don't know how long it takes for the live to get converted into, you know, like a video on demand, but it will certainly do that for you. So with this section, I'm going to go ahead and change this to full width, and then I'm just going to remove the left and right padding. I'm going to keep the top and bottom padding for now, because we can just change that in a bit. And then the first thing I'm going to do is set, let's think about this here. So, you know what? Maybe I don't want that full width. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. You guys are going to watch me fumble through this like I typically would. This would all be happening in my brain, so I'm trying to like think out loud here. So we're going to use one main div as the full wrapper that's going to have that bottom border. So I'm going to set that div to 100% width, and then we're going to go a bottom border on this of just white solid 1 pixel. And then the main section here, I'm actually going to change to like a much darker color so that we can kind of see some of these changes that we're using, you know, that we're kind of implementing here. So then let's go with another div, because we're going to need two inside of this one, I believe. I'll open the structure pane there so you can see it. We're going to use another div here, and this one's width is going to be like, I don't know, what is that? Maybe like 75? Something like that. And then I'm just going to add one more div. It's going to go inside of that one, which I don't want, so I'm just going to pop it over here, and then make that one go 25%. Then let's set this upper div right here to stack horizontally, and then space between. It's not really going to matter because it takes up 100%. I think we're going to need to make some adjustments here, but that's okay. We are, beginning the process. It's going to take tweaks. This is how, this is just how it happens for me. So next up, we're going to pop in the logo here. And obviously the the videos you guys watch are much more polished than my thoughts like this. I fumble through this stuff in the videos and then I edit it to make it look much more clean, so you're seeing the raw, unadulterated version. So we're going to pop in an image element here, and I need to pull this logo out of the XD mockup real quick. So I'm going to export that guy. Let me pop this in to my downloads. We'll go get that real quick. Probably should have done that already, but that's okay. So there's our green logo. And then what I typically like to do is build my menus using just like basic text links, or in this case, link wrappers, because there's kind of a I don't even know what you call it, like a line effect. See how on the like active menu, there's that hover effect. I don't know exactly how you would do the active without coding it with just a basic text link. So I'm not particularly concerned about that, also because of the fact that in my inner pages, I'm going to have the page title displayed. So I kind of feel like it's a bit redundant to have the text links be active like that. So I'm not going to worry about that line. I'm just going to use a simple text link element. So let's go ahead and do that. So inside this div here to the right of our image, we're going to add in a text link. The first thing I'm going to do is add a class. I'm just going to call this header links. And then the text color here will be that, actually not the, what's the word, original state. We're going to set this to white. And then the hover color is going to be our global green, like that. And then, of course, I want to set kind of a transition. So I'm going to leave it in the original state, go to Advanced, Effects, Transition, pop that at 0.2 seconds, and then ease in and out. I pretty much always use. And that gives it that nice fade on hover effect like that. Now what I'm going to do is set this to stack horizontally, middle align, and then we may need to wrap this with another div to kind of get the spacing right. The way that, gosh, that looks terrible. Let me expand this a bit. I'll just leave this over here and we can switch back and forth a million times. Look at me trying to move this around. So yeah, I think we're going to need to set this particular div here to space around, space between, and we'll add in some padding on the left and right side so it pushes the text links over. So let me demonstrate what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to change this link to like home, duplicate another one, we'll go about, and then like services. We'll just duplicate this out a couple times. If I were to set this to space between, then it spaces out everything evenly. But what I want is all these links to be positioned to the right. So what I can do is basically click one of these text links, wrap one of them with the div, and just push all the other ones inside that div container. And then there's some sort of orphan link there. I'll just get rid of that. Now what I'm going to do is go back to this div that has those links in it, set it to horizontal, and then there we go. So now the two elements are pushed out to the left and right edges of each other. That is Adobe XD, yeah. The reason why I don't use the menu element is, first of all, because the mobile menu in just the standard menu element is pretty terrible. I hate that mobile menu in the standard menu element. And then the Pro menu to me feels like it takes so much effort and time to get it looking like, reasonably okay. So I just fumble around with that so much. And I just don't like to waste the time with the menu. Pretty much the only time I use one of these menu elements is if I want the slide-in menus that the Pro menu gives you. So if that is, something that you're after, the Pro menu is great for that, to have like the left slide-in menu. But even then, you really can't control the way that the elements are built, because it just spits out the text links for you. With something like this, with these text links, you're able to more you have much more flexibility with how you design it, how you set it up. You can inject elements kind of in between it, like images or icons or whatever. Oh yeah, I mean, I guess you could do that, but I don't know. It's just not one of those things that I do. This is just how I do it. And this menu isn't particularly complex. If I needed like mega menus or anything else, I would definitely use some sort of plugin and probably not build it manually. So anyway, the next thing I'm going to do here is add some margin to the right-hand side of these links. So I'm going to add like 15 pixels of margin, something like that. 20, I don't know. We'll just stick with 15 for now. And then let's go ahead and bump up the font size here to like 18 pixels. And then in the mockup, are those capitals? They are. So we're going to go to text transform uppercase to make all of those capitals. So that's better. And then now what we're going to do is what's on the right-hand side over here in the mockup. Request an estimate with the phone number. Okay, so in this div here, we're just going to add in a simple heading element. I'm going to set this to like a tag of H3, make it white, and then decrease the font size to, I don't know, 22. And we'll just go request an estimate, like that. And then again, I'm going to pop. Oh yeah, Max, I will read the questions out loud before answering. Sorry about that. So the question that I was talking about earlier with the menu was, why don't you use the menu elements instead of building it manually? So that's what that answer was about. So the request an estimate, that works. And then how should we set this up? So that's just a simple phone number, and I'm going to slightly change the formatting of that. And in fact, that is much less bold than I thought it was. So what is this in terms of size? Why do I struggle so much with this? It's 18 pixels, and that's medium weight. Okay, so we're going to go back to this. We're going to go 18 pixels, and then font weight of like 400, roughly. And then let's add in a text link here. The text color we're just going to set to the green all the time, and then the hover color we'll just use one of those. It doesn't look that great. We'll come back probably and change that. Typically what I would do with one of these colors is take kind of my main color right here, and then there's this website called Paleton that I use. I think that's how you say it, P-A-L-E-T-T-O-N. There's a million of these out there, but this one just kind of gives you other complementary colors that look similar to that. So I typically would use these for like hover colors. So like this one here, I would just take that slightly darker one and add that as like the lime green hover, like that. So then what I could do is come back over here to my text link and my new hover color. I'll just set it to that kind of deeper lime green. And then it's not that much of a change, but it's just enough that you can actually see it. So that's what I typically do there. And then let me check what the size was on this phone number. That is 21. So we'll set that to a font size of 21. And then the phone number 850-812 something something 9442. 9442. And then for the link here, we're just going to use the tel link. So tel 850-812-9442. Perfect. So now that'll be a clickable phone link for us. The other thing we'll probably want to do is go ahead and set that same effect transition. And if I was smart, I would just set a class here for the transition. So instead of having to manually set the transition every single time, we could create a class called like, you know, hover transition or hover effect. So let's go ahead and do that just to demonstrate this. So I'm just going to add a class here called hover transition. And then I'm going to go to advanced effects transition 0.2 ease in out. And now anything else that I want to have that ease in out transition like this, I don't have to manually create. I can just use that class. So it's super subtle in this case, but you can definitely see that that thing changes. This looks just a little bit off. Oh, it's because there's that line height right there. So let me change that. I added margin and line height. And then was that? Nope, it's just like that. Okay. So that is good. Let me go ahead and set up these actual links here real quick. So it was services, gallery, about, and contact. So let's do that. Services, gallery, about, and then contact. Okay, I don't think I have some of those pages. I know we obviously have the home page. We'll go home and then about. Obviously there's nothing on these pages yet, but we'll get to that maybe at some point in another video. So now what I'm going to do is Let's check out space around in this particular div. We're gonna need to play with this just a little bit because I actually set these to full width, which I probably shouldn't have done. I guess I can change this div here to be a percentage of the width, or perhaps a max width. I'd have to kind of play with that a little bit. So let me get rid of this width in pixels, and let's go max width of, what was it, 1366? Is that what we set our page width to? Yeah, 1366. So I'm going to try that. Doesn't do what I want it to do. Maybe I have to actually define the width. You guys may think I'm an expert, but sometimes I get just as lost. Does this work? So we're going to center that. That works reasonably well, except that the border that we set on this main div here doesn't stretch to the edges of the page. So what if we wrap this div with another div? We're going to set this div to 100% width. We're going to center the content. Is that going to work? And then we're going to go border, bottom, white, one solid. And I don't think it's actually a white border, so we can change that in just a moment. And then the second div, we're going to go borders, unset. Save that, and then let's take a little look at the front end. So that is closer to what we're after. That's almost it. What is this border color here? I can't even really tell. I don't know. Am I selecting the right element? I guess I'm just going to make something up because that doesn't look like what I'm after. I'm clearly not getting something here. Maybe I'll just make the white a bit more opaque. Oh, border size is 0.5 pixels, somebody says, instead of 1. So here's that. Let's try 0.5. And then I'm also just going to change this to like 50% opacity. It's white with 20% opacity, I think. All right, let me try that. I'm going to go to, gosh, let me get 20, come on. And then I'm going to change it back to 1. Save that. Okay, yeah, that looks like it. So what I'm going to do now is save this as my like border gray color. That's it. How did you guys see that? Was that in the XD mockup? Did I just miss something? Because I was looking at this right here. It says white with 100%, but maybe I just missed something there. In any case, I now have this set as the border gray color, which is pretty cool. Got my Steam open here. Let me close out of that. Cool. So let's refresh real quick. And that definitely looks more along the lines of how it's supposed to. So then what other borders do we have here? We have one on the left and right edges of each of these divs here. So I'm going to go ahead and on this div, we're going to go border left, and then border right, using our global color with the width of 1 pixel. And then let's go ahead and add in some padding here. I think you can measure it in XD. Oops, didn't mean to do that. You can like select the logo and like another element. What did that say? 35 pixels. So yeah, we'll just go 35 pixels of padding on the left and right. And then what is it from there to there? It's 20, 25. It's uneven, so we'll go just 25, 25 like that. It's on the opacity above, not the border element. So if I go back here, oh, I see, the appearance opacity slider. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. This is very new to me, obviously. And then I'm assuming the spacing is the same in this block over here, and if it's not, that's okay. I'm just going to make it the same. So it's 35 left and right and 25 pixels top and bottom. 35, 25, 25. And then I'm going to set this div to center and then middle align like that. And this is definitely not turning out bad. I'm into this so far. This is starting to look reasonably good. We're going to need to change the padding, of course, on the actual section itself. I also need to set the border on the right side over there. So we're going to go border, right, gray, 1, solid like that. And then There isn't a border on the top because it's just at the very top of the page. Okay, so what I need to do is on this section, I'm just going to change this container padding to 0 like that. Save this, and then let's refresh. So there we go. That is, basically the beginning of this header. It doesn't look, exactly spot on, but it's close enough for my taste at this point. So now let's go ahead and take a look at what happens below this. So we have a background image here, the heading positioned on the bottom, and then a link here. So that's going to be pretty easy to do. There's a bunch of different ways you can do this, just like anything in Oxygen. I think what I'm going to do is add another div here. I'm glad you guys like it. Thanks for all the encouragement here. So I'm going to add a second div. I think I'm going to experiment a little bit here and set this section to like a, I don't know, 75 VH. And then I'm going to set, how do I want to do this? I guess I could position this div at the bottom, right? I don't know how absolute positioning like that on the bottom is going to affect the mobile layout. And maybe I'm going to want to bump it up above that just a bit. So maybe let's go like 25 pixels off the bottom. This is something that I haven't tried before, but this should work. So let's see. Heading element, what does that say? This doesn't really make any sense. I'm going to put something along the lines of, let's see. The Emerald Coast's leading, what's the word? Exterior construction company. And this is something that I'm making up because, again, this is a real site, but I'll have the client proof all of this, of course. And I imagine that there'll probably be changes we need to make. So what font size was this? Let's take a look at that. So it is 48, which I think is larger than this. 48 pixels, yeah, quite a bit larger. High-Tech says, is that background picture transparent? The first background picture together with the background and the header is the best part of the mock-up. That picture, I actually don't know. I would have to take a look at that. I think there's an oh no, maybe that is just the picture. I thought maybe that was an overlay on top of it. But I'm going to change that because, of course, this particular client doesn't build structures like this. So I need to have it be something that's a little bit more relevant to them. The other things that you can use Flexbox layout and set child element to start at the bottom. Yeah, I guess I can try that. So stack. It would have to be horizontally though, wouldn't it? Or no, not like this. Not really too sure. I guess you could make the height like 100% and then set it to start at the bottom. Could you do that? Can you go height 100%? Yeah, I guess you could do that. So then the layout would just basically take off absolute. Yeah, that would work. Maybe more spaces between the menu links? Yes, you are totally right there. Maybe like 25, maybe even like 30, 40, something like that. What does the mock-up have here? Let's take a look. I'm like fumbling around because I don't know exactly how this spacing thing, whoop, oh. It doesn't show me in between there. I don't know, maybe like 40, that looks about right. Yeah, there we go, Stratos. I didn't think about that, so that's nice. That actually works really well. So what we're gonna do here is just add 15 pixels of margin, maybe more like 25. We're gonna go text to link, and then let's take a look at this. What size is that? It's 18 with just our global green color there. Maybe I'm just gonna bump up my body font size real quick. Let's just do that. Our body text we're gonna change to 18, and then we don't have to worry about that in our other spots. We're gonna go green, and then it looks a bit bolder, so I'm gonna go like 500. Typography will be uppercase. Thank you guys for joining in. Good to see you. So what I'm gonna do, just to play with this a bit, the letter spacing looks a bit better. I don't think there's any letter spacing there, but sometimes I like to play just a little bit. Maybe I'll keep it consistent. And then we're going to set this div to center. And then what do I want to do here? So trying to think about where the destination of this link should be. Probably the services page rather than like the check work. I think I'm going to go like view our services. And then there's a border on the bottom of that. So we'll go global green here, width solid. That border looks a bit bigger. Maybe it's not. Yeah, any case, that'll be fine for now. And then it looks like there's a bit of spacing between the text link there and the border. So maybe just like 5 pixels will be good. Not uppercase for this link. Is that just from like the, oh yeah, you're right. From being consistent with the mockup, you're definitely right. So take that back off. And then what looks better? I guess that looks fine. Let's go ahead and just add that hover transition class that we used earlier. And then we're going to set the hover color here to our green. And now we have that hover effect already added there for us. Cool. So I don't think I have a services page yet, so we'll come back to that at another point. And then we all obviously have this section being this dark kind of navy-ish color. What I'm going to do is actually get rid of that, and then I'm going to set the background to the featured image of the page. And this, to me, is just a really easy way to have the header be more interesting. You know, you can have a different photo for each page, basically. So I'm going to set that to featured image, left 50% and top 50%. I'm going to save that. Line height on the hero text is a bit too high. Which one? This one? We'll come back to that in just a second. So what I'm going to do is go back to the admin side real quick. I'm going to go to the home page. I'm going to set a featured image just based on one of these photos that I have picked out here. I'm going to have to put a pretty dark overlay over these, I believe, which is okay. We'll just play with this. This is totally experimental. I don't know how this is going to work out. So let's just go ahead and save this, and then I wonder if it will pull up if we just switch. Yeah, there we go. So I don't know. This doesn't look very thrilling. Not super into this. Maybe I have to go like really dark. I don't know. I guess that's part of the problem with a mock-up like that, is it looks really good as is, and then you kind of start playing with it a bit, and then it doesn't quite look as good as it did. I mean, it's all down to that photo in the background is really what it is. And I don't have any like high quality photos from the client just yet, which I probably should have. Yeah, the photo is not my favorite thing in the world. Dark green. Let's go like Yeah, this is not the most thrilling photo ever. I'm gonna go back to that kind of darker color like that. Maybe there's a better photo like on Pexels or something. Let's see. Construction. Let's see. I really just need something that's a bit darker, which kind of sounds silly. Maybe this photo of this house. I thought I downloaded this one. That one's not too bad. It's got some darker tones in it. It's going to take forever to download. It's been taking so long for this stuff to download. Yeah, I do like that architectural shape on the mock-up. It is really nice, and it's really, you know, the text is super readable on top of that. So that is a bit disappointing. If I can get this picture of this house, I thought I already had it. You guys can see me clicking through 10 million tabs like I normally do. No, I guess I don't have a picture of that house. So we can definitely take a look at that other photo. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we stick with the other one for now. It just looks too good. I'm gonna get it real quick. You guys are probably screaming at me like, there's a faster way to do this. Is this one still not downloaded? doesn't like that. Okay, well, let's go back to this photo here. I'm going to toss in the hero image. We're just going to keep things really consistent here, not rock the boat too badly. Update that. And that photo is already so dark that I'm going to need to basically get rid of this overlay that we added here. I wonder if it's going to pull in the page if we just switch back to About and then Home. No, I got to refresh. All good. Yeah, I'll definitely have to ask them for a different photo. I mean, obviously that photo is not applicable to what they do really at all, but not that big of a deal. We can definitely fix that. Okay, so image overlay. What did I do? Oh, it's on contact, that's why. Yeah, I agree. That photo is too good. Now, of course, Pexels decides to download that photo, but we're already here, so I'm not going to worry about it. So there we go. I was wondering why there was all that extra spacing down there at the bottom. It's because the section still had padding. So I'm going to change this section to like 25. What is the gap between that and the bottom? Like 32. I'm not using intervals of 32, so I'm going to go 30 like that. Yeah, I mean this photo just is way better. It looks a little bit brighter here, so I wonder if there is an overlay. Maybe not, but I can also just fix that with this text being a bit more readable with like a super light text shadow. So I'm just going to go like black and then 0, 1, 3 on the text like that. Hero text line height 1.2. Let's try it. Oh yeah. Yeah, that looks definitely better. I'm a fan. Okay, cool. So there is the beginning of the, the main template. So at this point, what I'm going to do is think about how I can set this up so that it's a little bit shorter and doesn't require us to rebuild everything on the inner pages. And in that, I'm going to take a quick drink break. There. You have a gradient in the mockup on the bottom. Where is that? Is it in XD? If that's the case, I don't see it. The background position to take up the image upwards will give you the look you need. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about pushing the photo up a bit. You're right. So let's go background and this, and we'll change it to like 100, like that, instead of 50% in the middle. So that gradient in XD. Oh, good Lord. This is, I just feel like I'm just completely incompetent in XD. I don't see it. Maybe I'm just blind as a bat here. It's not the fill color. On top. Like, are you talking about on top of the photo? Okay. Set the photo to cover. Oh, okay. It was the text block, not the actual photo. Got it. No worries. That looks good enough to me. I mean, I'm not really too worried about this right now. While we're still here, let's go ahead and take a look at the mobile layout because we're probably going to have some issues here. And then, oh yeah, I did kind of see it when we moved the photo. Is that what that other color is? I thought it was just showing you that it was off the little like artboard thing. Move the photo. How do you get it though? It's so weird. I'm sure some of you guys are probably screaming at me like, what are you doing? Stop. I mean, I see that. I just don't know, like, how do I get the color out of it? I don't understand. That don't make no sense. I mean, I think it's good enough. We can do kind of that same grayish color, something like that. It's only like 30% opacity. It's not too bad. That looks better. I don't think these are going to change much. Contain makes the photo repeat, so I'm just going to leave it as is. Stratos, I'm glad that somebody else in here doesn't know anything about this. Okay. You said ungroup, then able to select gradient. Oh, okay, so if I right-click it, well, that says group. Do I have to move it back? Yeah, either way, I think I'm happy with this. So I'm going to leave this alone. I want to take a look at how this behaves on mobile because I mentioned that we're going to have to change the borders as we collapse down the breakpoints here, and we already have a problem. I think it's because of the way that I set that other div. Let's see here. It's because I set the width. Maybe I need to set the max width. Let's see. William says it was better on the photo with more white space so the corner not fall in the menu. Oh yeah, yeah. I see that. Let's go back to 50. Agreed. Okay. This particular layout, I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna tweak this in mobile. If I set this div to stack, this might cause me a few little hurdles here. So need to change this div's width to like 100%, I guess. Nope, that's not the one. There we go. Okay. Like I said, you guys are watching me fumble in real time. Hopefully this is fun. All right, so we'll center this stuff. Then I'm going to set this div's width to 100%. I don't think I like that aligned right like that. I do like the left and right borders on that particular div there, but in this case, we probably don't want, I don't think we'll want this stuff to be so big. This is going to take a bit of thinking. Thank you, High Tech, for joining. We'll see you soon. There will be probably a lot more footage for you to watch later on. Okay, so if I change the div's padding in mobile, does that mess it up on the desktop version, I wonder? So let me go back. No, it doesn't. Cool. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. And then I'm going to set this div's borders to unset at this breakpoint, and then I don't know. This is probably not the layout, honestly, that is ideal here. So, maybe I want these to be horizontal. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. So that's actually pretty good. So at this breakpoint, I probably want these text links to go away and do what I typically do, which is going to be have the mobile menu in a modal. So let's go ahead and drop that in there. Go modal. See ya. Let's add in another set of text links here. In this modal, I'm going to set the class to header links, and then I'm going to go header links mobile. And then the mobile ones, we're going to set the text color to like our dark and then our hover color of green. And then the mobile, we don't need any margin on the right side. Sorry if you guys are, working on something else in your minds as I'm jumping ahead. I apologize. So I'm going to set content styles to stack, center, middle, and then the modal we're going to set like, I don't know, 75 pixels of margin all the way. That's probably way too much. 25. And then the header links mobile, we're probably going to want to add like 25 pixels of margin beneath them. So this is a bit of extra work to build the mobile menu like this, but I find it's just so much more simple and clean, really easy to use. It does take a little bit of extra work because you have to update menu links twice if you have any changes. But again, this menu is so small that it doesn't really make that big of a difference in my opinion. So home, what do we have? Services, gallery, about, and contact. Services, gallery, about, contact. Okay. Services, gallery, about. Got to triple click this. I'm sure all you guys know that. Services, gallery, about, and contact. All right. So now what we're going to do is at this particular breakpoint, because we're at our page container, the 1366, I'm going to set the header links to layout of display none. The byproduct of that is that it also goes away here in our modal. So what I need to do is select the header links mobile and go to layout display flex. And then you can see that the links up there in our actual main menu are still hidden, whereas the ones in our modal here appear. So that's pretty cool. Andre asks, or wouldn't it be an option to use a regular menu component in the header as well as the modal? Yes, it would. I mentioned earlier that I don't personally like the menu elements because they have a lot of restrictions. I love the idea of a mobile menu in a modal because you can add anything, you know, buttons, videos, like any kind of element that Oxygen works with, you can add into the modal. So to me, it's just a much more flexible option. And I typically do this for sites that are smaller like this, that don't have a lot of menu links. So now what I need to do is back up here in this div, I'm going to add in, or actually do I want it in our text links? I guess I do. I'm going to add in an icon element. This icon we're going to switch to linear icon and we're going to go to, I think it's menu, yeah, just like that. Let's set this to white and then bring down that icon size to like 30 pixels. Our fancy icon is going to effectively be the trigger for that modal, so we're going to go modal, trigger, show when user clicks element, and then choose that, and it automatically pulls in the ID of that particular element. And maybe because of the size of all this other stuff on the page, we'd want to bump this up to like 35 pixels. And I'm not 100% sure I like the way this spacing is happening right here, but we can definitely play with this a little bit. Although the whole point of this site, and one thing that I discussed with this particular client, is he needs to talk to these people on the phone. The best way to kind of qualify the clients, oh my gosh, sorry about my dog. I don't know how to mute my mic, so if that is the sort of thing that happens in a live stream, I guess, right? It's just stuff that you would never actually anticipate. Hopefully my dog didn't set off your dog. But anyway, that's super funny. Not something I had anticipated. She was barking at a person walking down the street, not even in our yard. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. The person wasn't even like intruding. They were just out getting exercise and she's blowing them up. It's so funny. Dude, Chris, you are so right, dude. Yes, except I'm at home, so I guess technically my office is invaded by a dog. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's probably a Divi person. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh man, that's hilarious. The dog is just a chocolate lab, so not really like not a particularly threatening dog. She's all bark and no bite for sure. She'll just lick you if you come inside. Anyway, I forget where I was, but what's running through my mind, right? Oops, did not mean to do that. Undo to the rescue. The dog's name is Lana. She's a chocolate lab. What's running through my head right now is this spacing here. So I think I can change this div's width to like 25%, 30%. And that looks significantly better in me. Oh yeah, I guess I was here. And then this particular text link, I need to remove the bottom margin off of that so that the spacing is a bit more even on the top and bottom. And then that looks reasonably okay. I'm actually not mad at that at all because it kind of keeps that border effect that we have on the desktop menu, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Let's take a look. Oh gosh, that old photo we were playing with is just so terrible. Nothing compared to this other one. So, oh gosh, I also forgot to change this, this kind of setup here. So let me go back to our template real quick, back on the desktop side. We want to set this icon here to, at the desktop size to layout display none, and then we need to drop down to page container and set that to display flex so that the icon pops in. So let's save that, refresh again, and now we have our menu aligned just like that. Modal is nowhere to be found until we change the screen size to something else. Ooh, why is it so jacked up? Oh, it's because our section height there was messed up. But just to demonstrate my point here, which is the mobile modal like that. So that works perfectly fine. Now what I probably need to do is play with this stuff down here just a little bit more. So this starts to look really clunky. So at this breakpoint, I'm just going to basically display none this phrase request and estimate. I'm going to probably bump down this font size to like, oops, why is it? Oh, it's because I changed the font size on the hover transition class. So I'm going to bump down this font size to 16 pixels or maybe 18. Make sure that it stays on one line. And then I'm going to basically step down this font size. And honestly, I have never played with Wade Cohen's Oxygen add-on. Forgive me for not remembering the name, but is this the point of that where like it basically does the font sizes for you, like in the lower screen sizes? If that's the case, that's pretty cool. Probably need to start using it, but I've never personally done that. So let's see what this heading size was. It was 48, so at less than 992, maybe let's step it down to like 36, and then 768 will go like 30, and then 480 will go like 28, 26. I just want it to be on 2 lines. 24, no. That's pretty small. I guess maybe I'll just sacrifice it being on a couple of lines. Using clamp for font sizes is nice, no add-on needed. I forgive my ignorance on this, is that another like sizing option there? I've never really done that. I've always just kind of like manually stepped it down. The other thing I just noticed is this phone number does get kind of messed up at the lower sizes. So like, what about at 768? Can we stack these divs and then make this one's width like 100%, this one's width 100%? How does that look? I mean, I don't know. I'm not super thrilled on that, but it's a bit better, I guess. Not the best thing in the world. I don't know. Not really super thrilled on that. You can also add non-breaking space so you don't have a one-word orphan. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess I'm just going to leave this as is. 768. Oh, I guess I could remove... Oh, well, this div's width is set at 100%. What if I just change it to like 25 or something like that? I don't know. I'll just leave it. And then you have to stack it though, because it just gets way too crammed right there. I'm gonna stack it. We'll come back to this later. I'm thinking I probably just want to add a border on the top here, like this. And then let's check it again on the Chrome Inspect guy real quick. I feel like it needs to almost reverse so that the phone is on the top. I think we can do that though. I think if you go to the div that wraps these, which one is it? I'm having a hard time seeing this right now. It's this one right here. If at that breakpoint you go to layout and then it's flex and then reverse. Oh, maybe it's not this div. Hold on. Hopefully this works. So layout is already flex and then reverse. You can go save and then refresh. I mean, I guess that's better because the phone number is up top. Maybe if we re-add the text link there, or sorry, the heading, and we don't display none it, something like that. And then what do we do here? We horizontally align this stuff. I'm just playing with this in real time. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. You can use flex property to reverse position. Yep, perfect. Simple as clamp 20 pixels. Oh, okay, interesting. I don't really follow the clamp thing, but I'll have to watch Elijah's video on it. I'm sure it's great. So, I mean, this isn't like the most amazing thing ever because I feel like there's a bunch of wasted space here in the center. But just based on the way that our desktop goes, this is just kind of how it's going to be. So honestly, I feel like I'm okay with that for now. This is totally acceptable, especially for, again, as I've said a million times, this site being, not the most particularly complex thing ever. So the other thing I wanted to do is set up these text links, but again, I don't have the destination pages created yet, so I probably should just go ahead and do that. We are missing the services and the galleries page, so let's add that real quick. Services and then gallery. The gallery, we're almost certainly going to set it up more like a portfolio, so we may end up renaming that to portfolio. And we can go ahead and move on here. So we've already spent an hour building our header section here, which is not too bad, honestly. It's okay, just reduce the padding a bit, top and bottom. Are you talking about on the mobile layout here? Oh, yeah, I think I would probably agree with that. I forget what I did, like 25? Yeah, it's 25 top and bottom. So let's go like 15 maybe? 12? Since 12 isn't really half of 5, I just would stick with that. I mean, excuse me, 12 isn't exactly half of 25. That's better. I like that. I'm a fan. Okay, so now our next challenge is to figure out my goal, which is how am I going to make this so on the inner pages, the section here is much smaller. I think what we can do is really just duplicate this div. William, to answer your question, I always build on Cloudways. I don't build anything locally pretty much ever. I always am developing on Cloudways. And I just have this server that we're on right now, this development server is a 4 gig Vultr server. And then my production servers are split across a few different ones. I have a couple 2 gig, a couple 8 gig, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and set this section, or excuse me, this div to have a condition so that it only appears on the home page. This actually was a lot more simple as I just thought about it than I was originally anticipating. And Stratos, you said volt high frequency? I'm not familiar with that. Is that new? That's pretty cool. I haven't heard of that. We'll definitely have to take a look at that. I've been really pleased with Vultr for quite a while now. I had Google Cloud servers in the past, and I wasn't thrilled with the fact that I had to pay for bandwidth, but I'll definitely have to give that a shot. What were you using before, Stratus? Before the volt high frequency? Or HF, I'm assuming, is high frequency. Anyway, I'm going to set this div to the post title is equal to home because I only want this div to appear on the home page. And then what I'm going to do is just duplicate this. And then let me actually set this to the show hide based on condition. And then this second one, I'm just going to change this heading to be insert data post title. And then I'm going to change this height to that, basically. And then I think that's all I'm going to have to do. I don't want this particular text link there, and I also don't need that extra margin. So I'm going to save this, and then let's switch over to like the contact page. And then this div I want to be middle aligned. I wonder, can I use margin auto on top and bottom? Woo, baby, that's super cool. That is super cool. I didn't realize that. So now if I save that, I am pretty happy with that. Although, the other thing is, I didn't want this section to be as tall on the inner pages, but maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. I just don't like how this would take up so much of the page height, you know? So like the content that you're trying to get to, you have to immediately scroll towards. I want this to just basically be smaller. So what would be the solution here? Maybe if I took, like, let me go back to the home page so we can actually see this. So also I'm going to set this to the condition of does not equal home page. And then that way it's going to kind of go away. So we can actually kind of work with this in real time here. Okay, so what I'm thinking is to make this a little bit smaller on the inner pages, what I'm probably going to do is change this section, or keep the section as is, but remove the height that's defined on the section itself, and then basically wrap these two divs in one more and set the height on that div. So let's see if that works. So width is 100%, and then, oh, excuse me, I meant to be in the section. So the height is 75 VH. So let me give this a shot. I'm gonna basically remove the height out of there. I'm gonna save just so I don't mess up. And I know there is undo, but I'm still just a big fan of saving all the time. So I'm gonna wrap this with the div. We wanna center this, and then I'm gonna set this one's height to 75 VH, like so. And then, oh wait, is this gonna work? Because that's our menu. This may not work. I guess I have to leave the menu out. And then this div, maybe we'll bump that down to 65 VH. I think this will work. Yeah, so we now have the homepage one. And then this div, maybe we just add some margin on the top and bottom. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys. Might be kind of hard to see this. Yeah, Andre, I think we're pretty much on the same page here now. So let me save this and then contact. What did I do? Is it still set VH here? Oh, the div still exists. It needs to just be the home. So let's go back here real quick. I need to change that to, oh, not dynamic data, that's such a habit. I need to change this to post title is equal to home. Sorry, I'm being a little bit quiet. It's just that I'm thinking out loud here. So let's switch over to contact now. And then set that to show hide based on condition. So that's pretty much exactly what I want. So now there is a bit of extra spacing beneath this, which isn't super ideal for the consistency's sake. But what I can do is in this div just add a bit more padding. Maybe let's go like 50 pixels top and bottom. But that is pretty much what I was after. So now, although we don't have an image for our contact page, of course, the contact page is just a little bit shorter version of the home page. So let me switch back up here to home. And voila, there we go. Now I need to add just a little bit of padding below this. Let's go. It was 30 pixels before, but the inner pages is 50. So maybe just to be consistent, I'll do 50 on this one as well. I know that's not exactly consistent with the mockup, but perfect. That's exactly what I was after. William, to your point, conditions are amazing. Before that, I used to have to build like 2 separate templates because I just couldn't think of a way to build it otherwise. So this got a little bit more complex, but we now have one div that's wrapping our menu, with the logo and the phone number. We have a second div that only shows up on the home page that has this title and the button. And then on our inner pages, we just have a div that basically only shows the page title for us, which is really neat. So I'm a big fan of that. All right, so now we are basically at a point where we can move onward. And because we are still working in the inner pages template here, I'm going to go ahead and skip down in the mockup to this footer. Actually, let me think here. Am I going to add this form in the footer? I feel like I probably should. So the form with the map, this little white block, and then the footer. I feel like it'll probably be a good idea to have that contact page on pretty much or contact form on every page. So let's go ahead and do that. So this section here has a background color of what? F8, okay? We can make that happen. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and minimize this stuff here. We're going to have to probably come back to the modal and add those links. I don't know if they're actually going to pop up yet. I was going to say we'll have to come back to that, but I'm not sure that we will. Services, there it is, cool, that does work. Gallery, pop those in, and we also need to do that for our desktop menu as well. So services, and then gallery. Now all of our pages are linked, perfect. So now we can move on to our footer. So I'm going to add in another section, I believe. Yes, that's what I want to do. Oops, no. Oh no. There we go. Thank goodness for undo. That would have been a save and refresh right there. Or actually it would have been just a refresh, not saving on top of that. Anyway, so we're going to change this section to a footer. And then once again, I'm just basically going to change the padding all the way around to 0. I'm not really too sure, like I already said, does the tag of footer and header actually make any difference from like an SEO perspective? I would imagine maybe, I don't know. I'm not really too sure. Anyway, so we have this F8 div here, the background color of F8. So let's go ahead and add in a div of 100%. Background color is F8. Oops. There we go. And then okay, I wasn't sure, Stratos. I figured they probably did, which is why I always do it this way, but I wasn't really too sure about the technicalities of it. So in a case like this, where you have basically like a column here, for the code mode, okay, HTML tags. I mean, I know a lot of people were really wanting those HTML tags when they weren't available in Oxygen, but of course now they are. So in a case like this, where you have kind of a columns element here, I don't know exactly how this is split, but maybe it's like 60-40 or something. There's a bit of space to the left and right edges. I typically like to build these columns manually using just divs rather than using the columns element. It gives it a little bit more flexibility, especially when you need some spacing between the divs. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh yeah, accessibility is another point. I forgot about that. I'm going to go ahead and build out a div, basically column, manually here. So I'm going to set this div here to like 60% width, and then just duplicate that and change this one to 40. And then in this div here, I'm going to set this to stack horizontally, and then space between is not going to matter, but we'll do that anyway. Vertical align on middle. So Martin asked, does anybody design straight in Oxygen? Interested for small sites? Seems like most people probably do. I used to, but like I mentioned in previous videos, I'm not a designer, so I basically was always disappointed with what I came up with. So that's why I started, having people help me with mockups. So now what we're going to do is in this div on the left-hand side here, we're going to add in a shortcode for gravity forms. I know a lot of you guys are super into Fluent Forms. I've just never taken the time to learn it because just the gravity forms does everything that I need it to. And I don't think I actually have a gravity form on here yet, so this might tweak out. Yeah, I guess I don't have one just yet. So let's go make a simple form that kind of matches this. All it is name, email, phone, and message. So that'll be super simple. And then form, new form. We'll just call this footer CTA. Or I guess it's not technically a call to action, it's more like a contact form. But in any case, we're going to go single line text for the name. So name like that. Set the appearance to large, so it takes up the full width there. What's the order here? Email, phone, message. I already said that, but I forgot. Email, phone, and then paragraph text for message. Email required. Going to go to field size large, required, field size large, and then message. And in this case, I'm going to change the appearance to field size of small. So perfect. Now we have our gravity form and the ID is 1. Let's see what else we got going on in chat here. So Thomas says he either designs in Oxygen or straight from Illustrator when design is created by someone else. Yeah, I'm just not a designer, so I don't have any input there, unfortunately. Okay, so now what I need to do is go ahead and get this in there. So this actually should just populate in, I believe. I don't think I have to refresh the page. Let me like change the ID to 2 and like back to 1. Yeah, there we go. So there it is. And I have some default gravity form CSS that I've shared before. It's really not that great. It's kind of messed up and clunky, and it's got some messed up code here and there. But for the most part, it is a good foundation. So that's where all this styling has come from. If you didn't have this, CSS in there already, you would just basically have a blank looking form, which is okay. So let's take a look at this. What is our spacing over here? So 200 from the left and right edges, but what is it from like that edge? Is it really 200 pixels? I don't know. Oxy Ultimate is handy to style forms. Yeah, you could definitely do that. The gravity form CSS isn't particularly complicated, so I mean, you definitely can learn it. It's honestly like it's a really nice, it's a really good way to start practicing CSS with something like gravity forms, because I'm sure you guys all know in Oxygen you definitely are at an advantage if you're comfortable with CSS. Let's just add 25 pixels of padding all the way around for now. We'll probably have to adjust that later. And then on the right side, it's that map with the photo on top of it. I mentioned before that I'll probably just take a screen capture of their location and pop in their logo on top of it. But for now, let's just add in a Google map. And then we are basically working in the Pensacola, Florida area. And so I'm going to set this width to 100% of its container. And then I don't think setting the height to 100% is going to work, but I'm going to try this because I need to set the divs to stretch, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Thomas asks, why not use Forminator Pro? I did that for a while, but I just preferred Gravity Form so much more. And back when I stopped using Forminator, it didn't have the logic that Gravity Forms did, so I stopped using it for that reason, basically. Martin also asks, what is quicker for Oxygen, Chrome or Firefox? I don't know. I only use Chrome. It's hard to say. Let me get out of this real quick, and then I'm going to drop down to my footer. Oh, I need to set the background of the main div and not just that left-hand column, so let me go fix this. Did I not do that? I did. Wait, so... Oh, I guess it's because my section is not full width. Interesting. Okay, so I guess I need to change my section to full width and then set my div here to width of 1366, kind of like we did before, and then set it to center. And then now my div, oh, that probably didn't fix anything. No, of course not. Why would it? Because the div is still set at 1366. So once again, I think I need to wrap this with another div. That one's set to 100%, and then that one is F8 all the way down. Did that fix it? Yes, except it's not centered. So I can fix that quite easily. There we go. Now we can move into the next portion of our mockup here. So I'm not going to worry about this map stuff right now, and then we'll come back to the CSS styling later. Not really too worried about that at the moment. So we just basically need like one little white section, or one little white div here, and then that's really only going to exist from a height perspective to have this overlap with the logo. So how tall is this? I wish there was a way to like measure. Can I change this? Oh, nope. So that is 75 pixels from the top of the logo to the middle. So what is that? Maybe like 100, 125? Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea. I guess the white space is really not serving you very much. It could just be overlapping with the gray div above it. Because, I mean, really, all that white section is doing, in my mind, is just sort of delineating between that bottom darker color and then this lighter gray right there. So, yeah, I mean, we can just dump that idea. So then what I would need to do is, in this section, I'm just going to add one more div. What color is that? Oh, that's our darker color. There goes the dog again. Something happened outside, probably like the trash man. She's all bark and no bite, like I said. Okay, so back to what we were doing. I'm gonna set that's the FedEx man. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. The FedEx man dropped off a part from my car that I'm gonna be working on later. Vote for removal, type 1. Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much no reason for that to be there. So now let's go ahead and make sure that's centered. And then how are we gonna set up this other content here? So we have A couple of sections with links here. I mean, we're not going to have this help center stuff. We're not going to have great stuff. I mean, maybe follow us. Yeah, probably social media. So maybe what I'm going to do is change this over so that it's the logo. Well, no, we already have the logo there. So unless I'm doing it wrong, Andre, to answer your question, he said, I don't know why you set the divs to 1366 pixel width instead of just the page width. The reason I did that is because then the background color stretches to the far, left and right edges of the page, and it doesn't get restricted to the actual divs width there. So now what I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and add in the image that has the logo real quick. I think it's actually different here. Yeah, it has a black background, so I'm going to export this guy. Selected. Export that. I need to upload this new logo real quick. And then I'm going to set the margin to auto on the left and right, and then I guess we'll go like -50. That works. And then I need to add in another div right below this. We'll set that to 100% of the available space. And then what are we going to do from here? So I guess we'll just do quick links and then follow us, and we'll maybe push it to the left and right edges. All right, so I'm going to add in one more div inside of this. This one, let's just set to 50%. Duplicate that and set it to align horizontally. I'm going to add in a heading here. It just says quick links in white. How big is this heading? Let's see here. It is 25 pixels. Not too big. Let's go 25 pixels of margin. We're going to add in some text links. And then on these, we're going to add the class of footer links so that we can easily style these. Change this text color to white. Anything else? Oh, actually, this isn't white. What is this? AC, that's not a color I typically use. I'm into that. That text color, AC. So then... Sorry, 1 second. Quiet. Okay, so we're gonna go home. Our footer links, we're gonna have like 15 pixels. That's probably just enough. I'm just gonna add a bunch of text links there to kind of see how this works. 15 pixels is a bit too much. 8. That's okay. Is that indented? No, it's not on that side. Okay, so then on the right, I don't think we want the social icons. This client doesn't have really a social presence, which I guess is okay. Let's just set these icons to white. I'm going to make them smaller, like that. And then we'll just, oops, on this div, we're going to center it vertically and horizontally. It doesn't look super good, but I mean, what am I going to do here? So let me just save this real quick. Let's take a look at this. I probably need to add some extra spacing below this. Stratos said, same keyboard with the Office. Not sure what you mean. Like, do I use the same keyboard at both places? Yes, is the answer to your question. In the mockup here, I guess, well, there is some extra spacing right here. How do I wish that there was a way to measure like there is in Illustrator. Yes, this will be available on YouTube as soon as we're done. Well, not as soon as, but shortly after we're done with the live session here. That is probably like, I don't know, what would that be? 25 pixels maybe. I'm just gonna add some extra padding underneath this. Maybe 50, 75, something like that. Yeah, the noise is definitely the same kind of clicky clacky sound. You're totally right about that. Does this look better? Yes. Okay, so there's some extra spacing there. This footer I'm disappointed with because I hadn't really looked in detail because this kind of like header links, you know, all this extra stuff, there's not that many links on this site. There's only like 5 links for us to really play with here. So maybe I could just bump this like, you know, this address, phone number. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, the alt thing does work. It just seems like sometimes on certain elements in XD it doesn't quite behave the way I want it to, and that's okay. So I'm gonna change these to 33, 33, oops, 33, 33, and 34% width, so they're spaced a bit better. And then I'm gonna make this one just say like contact us. We're just gonna put the phone number here. I forget what it was, 850-812-9442. 9442, okay. And then their address was in the mockup. It was right here, so I'm just gonna copy and paste this. It takes me like 10,000 clicks to be able to select that text there. It's kind of weird. And then this text link I'll probably just send as the destination to the contact page. So the phone number, address, and then I think I'm going to delete these text links. We're going to add in one other text element, just a plain text element, and give that the class of footer links as well, even though it's not really a link. It doesn't matter all that much. I just was going to put Aegis, A-E-G-I-S, exteriors, Inc. And I'll probably come back and throw the Google schema markup in there as well. The other thing we're going to do is services, gallery, about, and contact. So let's see. I mean, that's a pretty plain Jane looking footer, but I mean, it's okay, I guess. I guess I need to add the padding to the top of this div up here too, so that it's not bumping up to the very top of that particular section. So let's go ahead and do that. Was it this div here? Yes. I think I did 75 pixels of padding. 75. Where did I put that? Was it on this one? No? There it is. Okay. Yeah, so I need to add that 75 pixels of padding up there. Save this. It's kind of coming together. We're really only working on this main template here, which is okay. So now, what else is in that mockup on this that we're missing? The styling of the submit button. I'm not going to worry about that clear button that's there. And then the placeholder text. So let's do this. So the placeholder text is just kind of that light gray color. I wonder if we can pull out exactly what color that is here. I want exactly, oh, it even changes. Interesting. I guess I can just use one of my kind of like light gray global colors in there. Alan says, visually there's no proportional spacing between the social icons and the 2-column link. You are correct on that. You are very correct, Alan. So the social icons don't really look that great. And also that div was center aligned. I don't know, maybe it would be better for these to be like a column with some extra spacing around them. Center, I don't know, something like that. William, for important layouts, why don't I rename the divs? That's a good question. I pretty much never do that. That's just a habit that I didn't get into. I probably should. It would certainly help quite a bit. And then another question from Arduro asks, the Google Maps, do they work out of the box? Yes, they do, actually. So if you had some particular address, I could type in like University of West Florida, and then the Google Map will actually work perfectly. Let me see if it works on this. Yeah, so for some reason it didn't pull in exactly what I was after, but the Google Map usually does pull up the exact place that you want. Maybe it's because I don't have the full street address here. Let's see. That's not the building that I want. It's this one, 1100 University Parkway. So if you type in the full address, then typically it will, there we go. So now it pulls in the actual Google business listing, which is super, super cool. So there is that, which I'll definitely change to the actual, to the actual client's address, of course, but there it is kind of working, which is super neat. Mr. Henry asks, is there a reason you use manual text links and not a menu in the header footer? Fewer style overrides required is basically the answer. Yes, exactly. And it just, to me, is much more flexible to build it manually instead of trying to work within the confines of the menu elements. On more complex sites, I will definitely use the menu elements, but I typically don't like to do that just because of the restrictions that are around that. Yeah, so this Google Maps element right here works with no API key in it. And then I don't know when you would need that. I think in ACF you definitely have to have the API key for Google, but for the most part this works just fine. So what I was going to work on here was the placeholder text. So we need to actually go back to our form here, and we're going to add in the placeholder name, email, and honestly this is a bit redundant if we're being realistic about it. But just to show you, to be consistent with the mockup, message, and then how can we help you? Okay, so we'll update that. And then in my style sheet here, I have my gravity form styles, and down towards the bottom, there's the WebKit input placeholder CSS. So what I need to do real quick is grab the global color that I have for this gray. I don't really have a gray, actually. Maybe we'll just make one up. So instead of it being this color here, what would be kind of the RGBA for like a gray, I guess? I don't know. What does it look like as is right now? It doesn't show up at all. Got it. So let's change this to, let's just change it to black real quick and see what happens. Oh, I don't need that because I have important. Does it show up in the back end? No, maybe because the form didn't have the placeholder inputs. So there we go. Could it be a location dependent thing? Andre asks. I guess in Germany we get shown some developer mode overlay as long as we're not using API key. I don't really know why it would do that. I've seen that sometimes in Oxygen, but usually if the map is coming from some other plugin or some other source, I really don't know why it does that in Oxygen. It just works, which is kind of cool. So that kind of placeholder is way too dark. So let's go back and we're gonna just change this to like RGBA. We'll go black, and then we'll change that to like maybe like 35% opacity? Is that going to be too much? Wait, what did I do wrong? RGBA 000, 0.35. What did I do wrong here? It just goes away. It's so weird. I don't know what I'm doing wrong there. In any case, I personally feel like the placeholders are a bit redundant, so I'm just basically not going to worry about them. What we need to do is style this submit button to look like it does in this. So in this particular case, you have to do that with the CSS in Gravity Forms, or you could use the selector detector, and honestly, that would be kind of a cool way to do it. 000, 0.7. Yeah, I thought that's what I did. I thought I typed out the RGBA code correctly, but maybe not. Maybe I did it wrong. If you guys have a preference, when styling this submit button, would you rather do it with CSS, or do you guys ever use the selector detector? Oh, I used 255. Is that what you said? 0, 0, 0, and then 0.7, right? Isn't that correct? Oh yeah, it is a little bit lighter. So let's drop that down. Let's go to like 0.4. I'm gonna go to 40% opacity there. I guess that's not that bad. I'll leave that. The other thing I wanted to do is bump down that font weight. So font weight will just go like 300. And then see if that's any better. Yeah, that's okay. It's a little bit light, but it's you know, not that bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is in our CSS here, I think I have this submit button actually added twice. So I'm going to go ahead and basically just delete this stuff. We have it in that second part down there. So what do we need to do? We basically just need to set the color to green. We don't need a background color, and we need a border bottom of that same green. So I don't remember the hex color for that green. Let's just go ahead and copy and paste this. So we don't need a background color. We want our color to be our green here. Where is that background color coming from? On hover, we don't need the background color. Let's leave the hover color. Actually, we'll change the hover to the lime green that we've been using, the darker green. Yeah, the selector detector is a bit confusing for sure. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I used it to style the forums on the Permaslug website in bbPress because that was challenging. Oh, it's the box shadow is probably what I'm getting here. So let's see, text transform, capitalize, font weight is 300, inherit, padding. We don't really need that. So where is our border? We're gonna go border bottom solid 1 pixel like that. Oh wait, did I do it backwards? I always do this backwards. 1 pixel solid. I can never remember. And also, am I putting this in the wrong spot? Yeah, I am. I am indeed. So why is it that I have that background color? Am I just missing something here? Is that like the default CSS? Maybe I just need to make it that same background. So like, background is, what are we working with here? F8? Is that what it is? Submit. Yes, okay, cool. So, I mean, what does that look like? Is that similar? I guess this is a bit heavier font weight. So maybe let's bump that up to like 500, and then that'll be pretty much good. So we have our font weight right there of 300. Let's change that to 500. Save, refresh. Oh, I messed it up. What did I do wrong? Maybe only 700 works. It's so weird. I have this CSS so messed up that like sometimes I put it in one spot and it works, and sometimes I put it in another. Again, I am not like, you know, the most technically proficient person. I just happen to learn this and show you guys what I know. Okay, so save that. What else are we missing from this mockup? I'm, like I already said, not gonna worry about the clear function. We got the logo just by using negative margin. We got some of this stuff kind of set up in there. I don't really ever do the copyright stuff because that's a waste of time. It's not actually copyright, so what's the point of even having it? So let's just take a look at where our thing kind of sits right now. So this is of course just our main site-wide template. So we have our home page, you know, hero image at the very top. We have our bottom footer area, which has this call to action form, this Google Maps form that I will change to be more similar to the mockup. Perhaps even actually just use their Google business listing, because to me that looks way better than just like this random like black map. I don't know what you guys think. I think I'll probably just use their real Google business listing. And then we have our footer, which, you know, it's not the most amazing footer in the world, but considering I am definitely not just trying to put like fake links there that don't go anywhere, that is, you know, certainly what I'm after. So there is our site-wide template basically done. And we are in, the logo in absolute is weird with 3-column footer in terms of balance. Yeah, It definitely is weird. It would be better if it was all 4. So I mean, I guess I don't know what the thing is. I don't know what the solution is. It's not a huge deal, I guess. All right, so I'm gonna jump back. Let's take a look at our mockup again and see what else do we have on this homepage here. So let's go ahead and get this stuff situated. This stuff will be easy. So I actually don't make the div of the icon smaller. Yeah, I could totally do that. So it's not 34% width or 33% width, whatever I set it to. Make it like 15 or something. Oh yeah, it definitely does need padding at the bottom. You're right, Alan. I'm gonna go fix that real quick while we're still here. William, the mockup is just this one single page, but the actual website will be multiple pages, of course, once it's actually done. So yeah, let's go down here. What did I add as the... I don't have any padding. I guess that's coming from the logo. Let's go 25 pixels top and bottom. Maybe even a bit more. Now I need to bump that up another 25, so negative 75 like that. I guess I just completely combated what I just did there. So do I add margin under? There we go. That's what I wanted to do. But that's not even now. I am basically just messing myself up there. I'm just trying to play with this a little bit, get the spacing right. So change this div to what, like 20% width? So what does that leave these other ones? 40 each? That's a bit better. Some suggestions on how to fix this footer. I'd put the icons horizontally in a row under the 2-column footer. Yeah, that's a good point. So change the social icons back to a row. We can put them underneath these other 2 divs. Oops. So social icons will go down at the bottom there. Oh my gosh, the drag and drop is just so annoying sometimes. But I guess I need to go like this. So that div goes on top of the social icons. That div, let's add some margin. We'll make the social icons centered just using margin auto left and right, even though that doesn't work. Of course not. Why would it work? Can I just center this whole div? Yeah, there we go. That works. Okay. So what was the other suggestions here? Center text in each column. I can try it. And then these need to be set to 50 and 50. This is funny. This is like community-driven design. Actually, this isn't the worst thing in the world, to be honest. Especially if we like set the spacing to be a bit equal. That to me is starting to look way better. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think this is starting to look much, much stronger. Designed by committee, that's the word I was looking for, Mr. Henry, you're right. I'm gonna take a quick, like, 2-minute break, and I will be right back. Alrighty. Contact us in footer is too close to the logo. Do what? I am drinking coffee at the moment. It's 11 a.m. over here. All right. So, William, I'm pretty sure WooCore just came out today, if I'm not mistaken. Alrighty, so I'm pretty much calling this situated. Let's take a look on the front end just to see how that changed. That's pretty good. I mean, I'm not really like super thrilled with that, but that works. So let's go ahead and jump into our homepage real quick here. We can knock out a bunch of these sections pretty quickly, I feel like. So let's go ahead. Oh, I forgot to add I forgot to add an inner content element to the main template here. So let's go back. Okay, so structure, let's go to inner content. You guys know my simple trick is just to set the minimum height of the inner content element to like 75 VH. And that way, if you don't have a whole lot of content on a given page, it will, basically make it so that it's not floating. Like your content's not floating. Good Lord, I need to use hydrogen pack because of this drag and drop. Okay, inner content is good to go. Save that and go back to the main template here. Purchase core and WooCommerce in a bundle for $179. I don't remember having the option to buy a bundle. Maybe there's a discount code that I haven't seen yet, but in any case, let's go back to our homepage here and we're going to edit that bad boy with Oxygen. I can close out of all these other tabs and kind of get this stuff cleaned up here. So in our mockup, this thing right here is, I guess, one of those like, these are clients we've worked with sort of things. So I guess we'll go ahead and use that just to be consistent. I doubt this will end up making it into the finalized live site, but hey, we'll go ahead and do it. Stratos, if you're asking me about how many add-on tools I own, I basically buy everybody's stuff. I pretty much have bought everything. I don't think there's anything that I haven't purchased. Just some of it I don't use. I don't know why. It's not like I'm like, intentionally not using it. Okay. So let's go ahead and add in that image. That one is going to be super easy. Group 866, I think it is. Select image. This section will just center this bad boy. What is this spacing wise? So if I hold Alt, oh yeah, it's 75, that's perfect. Okay, so it's 75 top and bottom. So thank you, Lewis and the Oxygen team, for setting your section's default height to 75 padding top and bottom. That makes my life easy in that case. In this case, I bet this background is that F8 color. It sure is. How did I know? And then we're just, I guess, should we just use a typical columns element here? Yeah, I mean, I guess we could. It's just two divs, basically. It'll make the mobile responsive portion easier for us. So let's just go columns 50-50, and we're probably going to have to adjust that because I don't think the image on the left side here is actually that size. I don't really have a vertical image like this, so maybe I need to crop one of those photos to be taller. Let's do that. I'll just fire up Photoshop. I mean, I guess I could do it in the WordPress thing and just crop one of these to like a vertical height. But the thing is, I don't know about you guys, but I find that it's really clunky, like trying to edit images in here. I have to like rename it to make it like recognize. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm just going to choose this guy. That's perfect, pretty much. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. So actually, that's maybe not exactly the framing that I want. Framing, haha, get it? Get it? Framing? Haha. So anyway, oh no. Undo, revert. There we go. Save as framed house crop. Something like that. So I'm gonna upload an image, that framed one that we just cropped. Select image, that's pretty ginormous, but that's okay. We can always resize that a bit. We can just basically reduce the width of the column here. And I know I'd want to shrink that image for the sake of like page load speed, but that's stuff that I usually do after the fact. I go through with a final mobile sweep and then basic optimizations like that before we go live. So what do we have over here? We have this neat little kind of like line off to the right of our section title there, which is pretty cool. Tony, he totally could be watching. Brett's a super cool dude, and if he is, I'm stoked he's here. I don't know that he is, but I got his permission to use his information on this, so hopefully he is. If he's here, what's up, Brett? All right, so in this particular case, I think what I'm going to have to do is probably 2 divs. One div that wraps, or maybe even 3. Maybe 3 here. So one div is like the main wrapper. Well, no, it would be 2. It would just be 2. One div as the main wrapper, the heading element, and then another div that had like a bottom border. I don't know. This will be kind of a tricky one. Let's see. If you guys have any suggestions on how to accomplish that particular layout, let me know. So I'm going to want to assign classes to this stuff too, because I bet this pops up in other places in the, yeah, it does right there. Work process, what we offer, gallery. Yeah, so we gotta build some kind of reusable element, some sort of class. Use CSS after option. Oh, good idea. I don't ever do that. Is there that state here in Oxygen? What about if I add border or like heading border right? State after. How do you do this? How does the after option work? Do you just put like, interesting. So how would you get like a longer line like that? Because if I'm just using like a hyphen, doesn't it do like a, interesting. I've never really played with the after thing. It doesn't let me do the space in the front. No content at all. Choose the ID first and then no content at all. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Sorry. Set an explicit width and height and background color. This is new to me. I haven't, like I already said, I haven't played with this after selector. I would do the same as you for this about us, but replace the image and add a 1 color block with the logo bigger in the center and the text on the side. 1 color block. I don't quite follow, William. I'm trying to read that in my head and see what you mean. H2 after content position. I'm just gonna copy and paste your thing right there. So set this tag to H2. I wonder if I can just, oh no. Let's check this out. All right, so I'm gonna follow you exactly, Andre. So choose the ID. Got it? Or Google it. Yes, absolutely. Select the after pseudo element. Got it. This is new, so I'm excited. Learning something new every day. Hopefully you guys are too. 3, set a width and a height. Okay. So, I don't know. 25? Would you like 125? I have no idea what I'm doing here. Width and a height. I'm just going to set some numbers real quick and see how this behaves. Oh, it's way down there. All right, so the line's width and height, if I can ever select this thing, is 31 wide. It says 0 high, but that doesn't seem right. All right, so let me go back here. So 30 wide, I'm going to set 1 high, and then the layout of the heading to flex. Then it uses a border instead of a height. So the heading is set to flex. Why is it way down there? Because I'm not seeing stuff, right? Like it's down there in like the lower left part of this section. Oh, right. I'm in flex after. I gotcha. Yep, I'm in the original state now, and that's set to flex. Make H1 relative, make after absolute. Relative, and then after absolute. Oh, okay, so there it is. It's now below it, though. So then do I put it like 1 pixel to the right? No. Make H1 relative. So that's at least in the same container now. And then I have my, oh yeah, I set the after background color. I need to go to original, right? Set that to green. No. Display block for the after element. Not absolute. And the flex direction to row for the heading. Flex direction to row. And then I messed this up. Let me go back to after. This is a little bit tricky. Do top and right to 0 in after. Wow, this is a little tricky. I'm not gonna lie. This works for sure. Yeah, let me go look on the front end. This doesn't seem like it should be this complicated. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's sort of correct. So now what did I do? Now what do I do to get it to be to the right of the word S? So that's pretty much correct. The other thing while you guys are typing, because there's a little bit of a lag, is I want to figure out how tall that heading is. That one's 35 pixels, so I want to bump that up a bit. So flex align center. Oh, okay. Flex. Am I doing that on the original state or the after state? Let's see, align items, center, and then you can set a margin left for the after element. Ah, cool. Let's go like 15 is probably too much. Maybe it's 15. And then I'm gonna set the height to 2, make it a little bit thicker. Woo, baby. Good Lord, that was complicated, but it worked out perfectly. That's really cool. I've never done that before. You know what I didn't do though is, well, I guess I wouldn't really have been able to do that in the class because you said it had to be done on the ID. Can you not do that on a class? Because like we're gonna have to use that a number of other times in this mockup, so I guess I could just duplicate it, but I was just curious why you did it on the ID and not the class. Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing properly in the builder. Let me refresh and see. Oh, okay. I guess I can just use the clone feature. Let's see if it works now. Oh yeah, it does. All I had to do was refresh and now it's working properly. So let me copy this. How do you even work this? Copy styles to another selector. Copy styles here. Cool. So now all I gotta do is basically add some margin there. So what's super cool about this is that now we don't have to bother with all that div nonsense. We can just basically use that class, and I'm glad I added that there. So then realistically, I really don't even need this particular div. I can just use this heading and then start putting content under it. You're saying after copying, you can delete the ID styles. Okay, so delete all styles from the selector. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. Yes, perfect. Sweet. That took a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but this is definitely worth the effort. So now we can utilize that in the next bits. So let me go ahead and copy this stuff. We're just going to throw that in a basic text block here. I need to add some spacing there. I don't know exactly what the thing was. Andre for president. Yeah, that's super awesome. Thank you. That's really, really cool. You guys totally taught me something new today, and I'm sure lots of other people, because I've never really used any of the pseudo, selectors here except for hover. Definitely haven't used before or after, and that's awesome. I wonder what other cool stuff you can do with that. All right, and then let me look at how tall this photo was. Its height is 614 pixels, so let's just round that down to 600. I don't know what the aspect ratio looks like of that photo, but it actually worked out just fine. And then what else do we have in here? Just a no more link. What's our spacing right here, though, between these two elements? 30. And then what's it between there and the text link? 30. I'll just use that as kind of my number. So 30 pixels, 30 pixels. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Andre, you could do better than that, buddy. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so no more. That looks kind of big, so that's 18. Let's just go simple text link, and then did we add a class to one of these? Was it like header links, footer links? No, I guess I'll just do like body link, something like that. Text color is green. Font size is 18. Do we have a thicker font weight there? Yes, we do. So let's go like 500. And then let's just say this is read more. I'm going to add 5 pixels of padding and then a bottom border of our typical global green here, just like so. And then what else do we have? So there's no more. I think it's better to just say like read more or learn more. This design is in XD. This isn't one that I made. I don't know if you guys saw my video yesterday. I bought this design on Fiverr just to kind of see what I got. So that's what I'm basing this off of. So this is XD. All right, so we need one more div down here that's going to wrap kind of these icons. That'll be super easy. So we're going to go div. Oh, I need to add some margin underneath this text link. Let's go 30. This div we're going to set to 100%. And then we're going to add one more div in here. It's going to have an icon on the left-hand side, which is what? A phone. It certainly is a phone. And then that was green, right? With some sort of gray border. What color gray is that? The border is 7070. So we'll go border like that with 1. Oh, wait. Outline. Yeah, so I don't actually need the border. I always forget that. I don't want it to be a circle, though. How do I do that? Why did it make it a circle? Maybe I have to set the border radius anyway. I don't want it to be rounded. Do I just go 1? Oh, I guess I have to set it manually to 0. Interesting. That I didn't know that. I've never tried to set a border around an icon like that. So I don't want that icon to be as gigantor as it is, and I also want some spacing around it. Something like that. That certainly works. And then it says call us 812-9442. So in this particular div, to the right of the icon, I'm going to add in, I guess I would have to do one more div. It gets kind of complicated here. So we'll stack those horizontally. Add in a simple text field that just says call us. And then we're going to add in a text link. We're going to paste in the phone number. I like to keep things consistent and use parentheses around the beginning of the phone number and a hyphen instead of a dot like that. So this is going to be a telephone link, 850-812-9442. Text color of green so people know it's a link, and then the hover color will just be that slightly darker green. Yeah, the pseudo elements in the builder is pretty sweet. It's pretty uncommon to find things that you can't do in Oxygen, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna space that out a bit. Is there a border around that stuff? There's not, no. Interesting. I was kind of figuring there'd be a border between the icon and the text there, but not in this case. So perhaps 15 pixels is or excuse me, 25. I meant to do 15. I was gonna say that seems like quite a bit. And then we can basically just add some margin to the right of this and duplicate that div, set these to horizontal item alignment, and then what do we have next? Just the address. So we'll change this little icon to a location like that, and then actually I'm gonna get rid of the text link in here, and I'm just gonna basically copy and paste in the address, which I guess I gotta do from here. Oh, it's a link. No, I don't want it to be a link. Come on now. Gotta triple click this bad boy. There we go. So, Suite 206, Miramar Beach. Basically gonna get rid of that, and then there's a period at the end of US. I'm gonna also delete US. This company doesn't work with people outside of the US, at least at present, as far as I'm aware. So it's starting to look pretty good. That color seems a bit off though. Maybe there's an opacity on there I missed. It says it's, or did I just not set it right? It's a 7-0 border. What did I do as the border color? Did I just not set one at all? I guess not. Why is it not changing? What did I do wrong? So what's funny about that bushcrafting you're talking about, talking to yourself, these are the conversations that go on inside my head. So like as we're working through this, live, like together, it's really funny because I don't talk out loud typically. There's nobody else around me at home. And so I don't really talk out loud typically, which is kind of funny. I don't know why that border color isn't changing. Maybe it's like a caching thing. Maybe it is actually doing it. Let's go look on the front end real quick. Oh gosh, that looks horrible. What am I doing wrong? Yeah, I mean, I swear I do this. I do this all the time. I'm just like, these noises that I'm making, like these like these dramatic sounds. It's you 100% hear that if you're in the same room as me. Are you still using the outline? No, I set the icon style to none and then just kind of set the border manually. I wonder if it has anything to do with the border radius being 0? Or, well, no. Because they're all set to solid. I don't know. Is it an oxygen caching thing, perhaps? Good question. I have no idea. I'm going to link this to the About Us page, and I'm going to move on. That's the kind of stuff that I don't feel like wasting a bunch of time on right now, or, in the real kind of development time. I forgot to set the background color on this section. What is it? It's F8 again. I've been meaning to do that for quite a while now, and I forgot. Let's add in another section here. And what's up next? So work process. I guess I like these icons, but I'm just gonna have to make stuff up here. So is this all gonna export as one? I just want like these icons. How do I do this? Hold shift, right? Oh my gosh, you have to click so many times to select this stuff. I don't want the text in it though. So do I have to, come on. There we go. So I shift E. Shift E. I wonder if I can do this like in a batch. Oh, dude, why is this so hard? I'm clicking like 20 times to select this stuff. That's crazy. Okay, so export, selected, export. Probably just gonna do that last one, the paintbrush. I don't know what I'm doing here. And then there's nothing in it. Oh man. You know what? I'm just going to export this whole thing and see what happens. What did it do? Oh man, it gave me the whole thing. Whatever. It's just some silly icons. Let's just go ahead and pop it in the page. I'm not particularly worried about it right now. We'll probably end up changing that stuff anyway because it's not particularly relevant. Oh, there's a structure pane. Interesting. That would be helpful. Well, I would typically use SVGs, but for these PNGs, I'm going to replace them anyway. So can I like open this folder somehow? Oh yeah, there we go. Oh my gosh, I've never known that this was here. I don't know how I missed that. There we go. So can I select it like that? And then do I do mark for export and then export batch? Hero, image, PNG, and ellipsis 1 already exist. Do you want to replace them? Yes. Yes, I do. I guess it exported every single asset. Maybe because I had like a bunch of stuff selected. Anyway, moving on. Not terribly concerned about that either. So let's keep going. All right, so this thing says you are on the right place. Let's change this to just another section. We're going to use a background photo that we already have, like, I don't know. Let's just use like this photo because we didn't end up using that earlier. We'll go left 50, top 50% to center of the photo. We're going to put an image overlay on it that's pretty dark, maybe like 60%, something like that. Because it kind of had a gray hue to it on that other photo. Something like this. And then, what are we doing here? So, there's like a 250 pixel gap, I think. Yeah, 250. So, I don't know, what you could definitely just go like container padding 250 pixels, then add in a heading element, make sure it's centered, go text color white, and then just, what are we going to type here? Something like, says you're in good hands. What would be something that you would expect to see? Like, experienced professional, I don't know. I'm not a writer. I am not a writer. Kind of want to say something super generic like your job done right. That's what I'm going to say. Your job done right. Yay, corporate fake sales copy. Woohoo! Okay. Text. Pop in some text here. Also, I don't know if you guys know this. I forget to do it sometimes. But if you set like the main wrapper, like a section or a div or whatever, if you go to the typography and set that to white, then everything inside of that will inherit that text color by default, which is pretty cool. I'm going to set this text element to 50% width for now, and then I'm going to change up this text a little bit with over 1,000 projects completed, 500 in 2019 alone. We're the fastest growing. Oh wait, that's actually real text. 2020 alone. Cool. All right. We build, oh, that's a great one. Yes, we build your success. I love it. That's fantastic. Somebody asked earlier a question that I missed. The question was the mobile version already done or will you do that next? The mobile version is not, oh yeah, good point, Andre. The mobile version is not done. I usually go back and do like a mobile sweep at the very end of the build right before I send it to the client because I know they're going to check it on their phones. The text, Andre suggested don't use a percentage width, use a max width. Ah, yes. I see that in other designs and I was wondering why. So what would be half of 1366? 700 something? 675? What is half of 1366? I'm pretty poor. 683. So yeah, close enough. All right. So let's add a little bit of spacing there. We're going to go text link. And then what was our class from this one up here? I used body link. So that way I don't have to redesign all this. Body link. And then I'm going to make this link just say contact us. It's going to go to the contact page. And wow, fantastic. This section is done. Beautiful. Okay, so now we got this like what we offer section. I mean, yeah, the max width is definitely the ticket instead of widths. I'm guilty of using width like percentage in basically every situation, but max width is way better. Okay, so we have the what we offer heading. So thankfully we have that class, so we can easily recreate that line on the right side. And then this stuff is not really applicable, but I do like the idea of these icons with some content underneath it, like some basic things, because they offer like siding, they offer roofing, but I'm gonna have to change these icons because they don't really work. So what I'm gonna do here is I don't know what I'm gonna do here. I think I'm just gonna select this stuff. I don't want that heading in there. But, yeah, I mean, I could do other icons. Looks like CSS grid time. Yeah, I'm definitely not an expert in that. You could totally do this with like a manually built div and some columns and borders and stuff. We can totally do it with Flexbox. Yeah, there's no issues. And then, all right, so let's do this. I am going to add in another heading here. Well, first of all, let's add in another section. We're going to add in a heading. Let's just type out what we offer. And then our class from this one with the line was what? It was header border right, or heading border right, I should say. Border right. And then we'll center that. Let's go 25, not on the class, on the ID, we're going to add 25 pixels of margin. Yep. All right, so I was laughing at William's comment about the song, totally. So what I would do in this case, what would I do in this case? If I were trying to make this layout, I think what I would go is one div here, and then 3 columns inside of it. It looks like these are like, what would this be? Like 25% width, 50% width, and 25 maybe? Or like 30, 30, 40, something like that. Let's try that real quick. So I'm gonna add in a div. This one's gonna, oops, not EM percentage. We're gonna go 100%. Stack these horizontally. And then let's go div. And actually let's add some classes to this. This one is going to be offer left div, or no, let's change this. Actually, offer div left. And I'm going to copy and paste this so it's super simple. Offer div left. We're going to make this 30%. Another div, not inside of it, over here. We're going to go offer div center. And that one's going to be 40%. And then one more div, and this one is going to be 30% again. This class we're going to call offer div right. Okay, so that should make it more simple. Andre says, if you use a grid with a gap of 1 pixel, you could set the container's background color to gray and the items itself white, so you can get the thin lines between the items. That's not a bad idea. Yep. Okay. So now we would basically take these icons. So I'm gonna just not use these actual icons from the design. I'm gonna find something like an icon that says design basically. So I'm gonna set the alignment here. I'm gonna go icon, and then I'm gonna add a class to this so I don't have to style all these icons. I'm gonna call this offer icons. The color will be green. Our size will be like 35 or 40 pixels maybe. And then space around. I feel like that never works. So maybe I have to do margin on the outside, something like that. Then, actually, I don't want to use design and planning because that's, I don't think what they offer. I'm just going to do 3 for now, actually. So I'm going to go roofing. And then can we find a roof? Building. Ceiling. What am I gonna do? I guess I'll just do like a house. Is there a house in here? Come on. Room. It's so ridiculous. Sometimes the words are just like flat icon. That's not in Oxygen though, is it? There we go. Home. That looks nice. Cool. This heading is not styled, so what size is this? That is 22. I'm gonna bump that down here. And then that icon is a bit too big. That's too small, in my opinion. I'm gonna bump that up to 28. Yeah, William, you definitely have to, you definitely need to get the custom icons for sure. And then roofing, is there lorem ipsum text here? Yes, I'm just gonna steal this text, make it nice and easy on us. And then duplicate that twice, throw it over here, do all this spacing stuff, roofing, boom, boom. Probably should have added a class to these headings, but whatever. We are here and it's already done, so I gotta do what I gotta do. Okay, and then bump up the roofing. Okay, so what else is there? There's siding, and I don't know what a good icon for that would be, like stack basically, or like that's like the justify icon, but close enough. Bigger icon, yeah, I kind of agree. Icons are a bit too small, and honestly the headings seem a bit small, but that's okay. And then exterior construction. So I wonder if there's like a shovel or something. Dirt. Is there like a construction? Yeah, there we go. Construction icon, cool. And then let's add that border on the right side of these 2 divs. So over here, go to the border right. We're gonna add in our global border color with a width of 1 pixel solid, and then do it on this side over here. Border right, 1 solid. Bam. Oh no! Why didn't it show up? What? Oh my gosh, I'm clicking way too fast. Why didn't it pull up the border? Weird. Maybe I have to do it in the ID. That would be an Oxygen quirk for sure. Well, I mean, the div has the class, but I don't know why that would matter. Let me just try it real quick on the ID instead of the class. If it works, I don't know why it wouldn't in the class. That doesn't make any sense to me. We all love Oxygen. We'll forgive its quirks and features. Maybe it's because of the spacing that I have set here. Well, no. That wouldn't have anything to do with it, right? Why is that not working? That seems super odd to me. Yeah, it does. It does seem really odd. I don't get it. Maybe I want to try to apply a bottom border to this div here. I definitely just worked to the bottom, but it doesn't show up. Is it in the CSS here? I mean, it shows it in Inspect Tool. Maybe the color is just too light. That wouldn't really make sense though. 25 pixels. That's so weird. Yeah, but I thought that that color was much... I thought that color was much brighter than that. Yeah, I guess I need to add a slightly border gray, like darker or something like that. So we'll toss that in there and we'll go like 70% opacity. Maybe that's why. That's super weird. I didn't realize that that color was so dark. Or I mean light, I guess would be the phrase. All right, so we definitely don't need a 25 pixel border. Does it show up yet? It's still probably not going to show up all that well. I don't understand. I'm just going to go with our navy and make it like 50%. I just want a border of some kind. Also, I want it to be 50, but there we go. Okay. Let's do that. That works. It's just the color, I guess. It's really weird. I expected that other color to at least... Look! It's not there! What am I doing? Is it something with RGBA colors? What if I do like the solid hex color? Weird. That is very, very weird. I don't understand. So it doesn't like RGBA, I guess? That's so strange. Well, you know what I'm going to do is go just some sort of gray color that's just a plain Jane hex. I'm going to go border right, and then on this div it had a border bottom. That's going to work, I guess, but that's not super thrilling. Yeah, I'm not super into that. That's a little bummer. I also wanted to duplicate this to basically replicate the border, but I'm going to take the bottom one off and then just see how this looks. Yeah, that'll look good. When we have all of the actual services in here and I can kind of change up some of this stuff, that will look reasonably okay, I feel like. I just need to make sure that these borders aren't as dark as they are because I really don't like that. Yeah, Stratus, you're totally right. That color is terrible. Is there a core color maybe? I don't know. Maybe just like C. Border needs to be much lighter indeed. Border bottom. That's good. Borders right. Bam. Border right. Bam. Okay. I think we're almost there. Bottom. Oh, it's this one has the bottom border. Bottom. Already did that. Okay, cool. Sweet. I think that looks perfectly fine. I honestly am not a huge fan of the extra spacing in the middle, though. I guess maybe if these sentences were a bit larger, it would make sense. But, oh well, that's good enough for now. Let's look at this section down here. I feel like this stuff, these sort of like awards things are really gimmicky. So to be perfectly honest, I'm going to skip that. And then let's kind of close out this video with this gallery section. So I don't have a portfolio on here, but let's see. I was hoping to get into swiper.js in this, which is what I've done in my Oxygen course. There is a video on that, but there is no portfolio. I guess we could just make it like featured products. We'd need to crop those photos to be vertical like that. What photos do we have in our media library here? Let's see. Okay. So we have this house. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we need to find another picture of like houses that look like they're sort of under construction. I guess there's those 4. I think I'm just gonna do that. Just like basically crop those 4 photos. Yeah, that'll work. What I can do, actually, I don't even think I need to worry about cropping it, is just make a new section. I'm gonna clone this heading and bring it down here and just say like past projects or something like that. Center this, and then let's add in a div, 100%, and then space horizontally. I'm gonna add in a div that has a width of 20%. 20%. I need to add a class real quick though. So projects, photos, something like that. All right, so 20%. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Bushcrafting is we need something to differentiate these 2 sections. I guess it would just be like a text link. That would be pretty simple. So like a contact us, you could just have this down here and it would just be like view services or something like that. Okay. So div 25 pixels, and then let's just link this to the services page. Add link. There's something there. All right, so what I'm thinking with these past projects right here is I'm gonna add in basically 4 divs with like 20% width. I'm gonna just choose a photo at random and set the div's background to be that photo and position it so that they kind of fit in the confines of that photo, you know, in the div's space, just as like kind of a temporary solution. And then if we do end up building a full portfolio for this client, then I will definitely probably, that doesn't make any sense. I will more than likely set up swiper.js so that there is these left and right swipeable arrows, but you can just keep in mind that there is that video in my course. So there's already a tutorial on how to set up swiper.js using a repeater to make a dynamic slider. So we won't delve into that here. I'm going to duplicate this out basically 4 times. I'm going to set the space to space between. Let's set the height of these divs to like, I don't know, what is the height of this? 400 pixels basically. It's 395, but I'm going to round it up to 400. Let's go background of this particular div to this house. I'm going to set it to cover, left 50%, top 50%. Oh, I actually should change this to all be in the class here so I don't have to worry about that later. 50% left, 50% top, and then cover. And then really what I need to do is just for each of these elements, go pick a photo. So I'll just do this one. These photos aren't particularly ideal because of the way that they fit, but that's okay. We'll just use this one. And then last but not least, we'll use this photo here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but in terms of it being simple, as compared to trying to build like a dynamic slider for a portfolio that doesn't actually exist yet, this is, to me, the most ideal solution. I'm going to take another text link down here underneath this div here and add the margin. View services, let's go view portfolio, which I think we called it gallery. So let's change that to view gallery. Set this to the gallery page, add link, save, and bam. Okay, let's go back up to the home page here. So I'm looking at my live time real quick, and we just crossed 2.5 hours. So this has been 2 hours and 30 minutes, mostly uninterrupted, and we've gotten quite a bit done here. I'm pretty excited about this. So we have our header basically set up with our custom, different divs that will do the inner pages, the height changes with the page title in there. Need to set a background photo for those, and then kind Got this like client section. I'll have to change that out to be like real clients. The About Us section, that actually looks reasonably okay. I need to figure out why this border isn't working quite right. This stuff I will definitely have to change once I kind of figure out more along the process of how this particular client works. This one, We Build Your Success, I actually really like that. Contact us is the call to action there. What we offer looks okay. Obviously, again, need real content to go in there, but that's okay. I'll work with my client on getting that. Past projects, bushcrafting, you're totally right that we should kind of close up that spacing there a bit. We can just basically set these to like, I don't know what it would be, 22% width each. Oops, not XD. I want to go back here. A case like this is why you set classes on stuff, because I'm pretty sure all I'm going to have to do, bam, just like that. 23 I think was pretty good. 24? Yeah, 24 is pretty good. So that's what's so cool about using classes, is you only have to do it once. Andre, you can't browse to this particular page. I don't know why. It's not hidden. I mean, you guys can view this in real time if you wanted to. There's nothing restricting your access. So let's go ahead and do a quick mobile sweep real quick. So this is typically something I would do right before I send the proof to the client. You only see the top section. Interesting. I wonder how it would work incognito. I wonder if it's messed up if I'm not logged in as oh yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean if I'm incognito. I wonder if Stratos, to your point, yeah, let's check and see if the settings page, or excuse me, the reading page is set to home. Yeah. Let's see, so let's go re-sign shortcodes. I probably need to get out of the admin console real quick. Oxygen settings, security, sign all shortcodes. Thanks, Stratos, for joining us. See you later, man. And then re-sign save permalinks. Yep, save that. Let's see here. Did that work? No, weird. I wonder. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably caching in Cloudways. Let me check. Yeah, varnish cache was enabled. I hate that they do that by default. I wish you had to go turn that on, but whatever. Now it should work. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, it was just caching. So now it should work, Andre. Cool. So I was gonna do a quick mobile sweep. Let's just take a look real quick in Chrome Inspect and see how jacked up our page is. So these divs need to be adjusted. Ooh, gosh, that needs to be adjusted badly. So that's actually in our main template there. So let's go to our main template real quick. Edit that. And we'll fix those mobile issues real quick. That shouldn't be too difficult. Alrighty. Moving down the page, all this stuff was fine. We'll go right here. Less than 1368. We need to set this div right here to be 100%. Oops, not 1,000, 100%. And then this one to 100% as well. Let's go ahead and stack those because it gets pretty congested right there. So we'll go 100%. The icon's border width is set to 3 pixels when I check it with the inspector. Interesting. I don't know why that would be. Okay, so set this width to 100%, and then I need to define a height in here for that map. Let's go like 325 pixels in the mobile view. Save that, and then how does it look in the inspect tool now? Oh, it's the footer, like that text part of the footer, but that actually works. So once again, this is the downside of building the columns manually, is that then it does make it a bit more difficult to adjust in the mobile side of things. It's not so much difficult, but more just like kind of time consuming. All right, so we'll stack those, set this width to 100%. I'm going to add some margin. I think I did 15 on the other one, so I'll keep that consistent. Save. And then now, are we mostly good to go here? Just about. We have a little bit of white space on the right side. I wonder where that, oh, it's from this stuff up here. Guys, will somebody post in the Oxygen Facebook group and ask them why I have white gap on the right side, please? Just kidding. Don't do that. Just kidding. Haha. Okay, edit the home page real quick, and let's go fix that mobile layout, and we'll pretty much be set here. I mean, we're missing a lot of other content. You know, we still got to do all the inner pages. We still got to like get real content in the page, but we're definitely coming along here. So we were having trouble with this stuff here. So page container is it's a little crammed. I say that we go ahead and drop these to stack vertically at page container, and then each one of these will set the divs to 100%, and I'm gonna make sure to use the class so I don't have to do it twice. 100%. Of course that didn't work. Why didn't it work? There we go. I'll just use the ID. Oh, William, you can totally make a full website in one day. Absolutely. If you have all the content there and you have a rough idea of what you're doing from a design perspective, without a doubt, you can totally build, you know, simple like websites in a day, for sure. Okay, so let's do this, and then I need to set this to stack. All that stuff should be pretty much good to go. I don't know why the width isn't working on that particular div, but oops, not 200, 100. And then, yeah, good, okay. So then this we'll probably want to go ahead and stack as well. Maybe at 992, that does get a little bit crammed there. Project photos set to 100% width, and then let's add 25 pixels of margin beneath that. I might change this to a gallery in the future, like an ACF gallery perhaps, so the client can get in there and add photos. If we're going to do just like a regular photo gallery instead of a proper portfolio, that's probably what I would do. Okay, let's go take a look at the home page real quick. Check it in the inspect tool. I always like to check it on my phone too, to like double check that it actually works properly. Bushcrafting says, I would add a background color to the view services section so there's a spacing between the white blocks. Let me see what you're talking about here. So view services section, I would add a background color. So like, you mean this whole section right here? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. We were just using a background color of F8 on the other sections. So how does that look? Let's see here. Yeah, that's a bit better. I don't think it looks bad at all. I like the just a little bit of delineation between the two sections. So this, you know, we definitely had to make some adjustments to the design, you know, as compared to the mock-up, but I think it's coming along really nicely. It's been less than 3 hours. Oh, Bushcrafting, I mistook what you meant. Did you mean just around the view services link, or not the whole, like, what did you mean there? A bit more like the mock-up. Let me look. Oh wait, it's down here. No? Where is it? Yeah, place that in a section. So are you talking like this section here with like all the numbers and stuff? Oh, just basically like put the text link in that section with all the numbers? I guess that would make sense. Yes, it's the counter section adding rhythm in the page. All right, you guys are twisting my arm. I'll do it. I'll do it. So is this an image in the background? let's see real quick. I don't really know what that actually is. Oh, it just exported. I don't really know what I'm after here. What asset was that? I don't see it. Maybe it's just like a... Is it that? I can't tell what that is. I don't see it in the... Oh, there it is, BG image. But what's the pattern behind it? I can't really tell. Let's just go throw that section on the home page real quick. So what was that? It was between the what we offer and the past projects? Yes, okay. So what we're gonna do is drop this what we offer, add another section, use that BG image. I think it must have had some pattern because it wasn't just a solid color like that. It's a staircase with an overlay. Oh, okay. So what staircase was it? That's like the side of a building. That's from the portfolio. Maybe if I go back to the mockup and then like pull that off. Mark for export. Export selected. Export. So it wasn't really that. What is this color? It's just basically one of our global, like the navy with an 80% opacity. Okay. So upload back image 2. Okay. And then our image overlay was our navy with 80% opacity. And then we had basically just these headings. So what size are these headings? They are 60. Okay. So in this case, I'm just going to use a columns element 4 wide to make life super easy here. So I'm going to go I'm going to call this like data headings or something. I need to get better at naming my classes to be a bit more consistent, but hey, whatever. Oops, I'm searching for the element trying to add a class to it. So I'm getting tired over here. All right, so data heading. So that was font size of 60. Holy moly, that's big. Maybe it's just because this is shrunk. Oh, you're talking about only the link, not the actual numbers? You don't want all that? You're just saying the link thing only? Maybe you can make a block quote from architecture instead. I just want to check this out. Now that we're this far along, I want to see what we got going on here. Projects completed. If I'm being perfectly honest, I have to admit that I think I was wrong about this particular section. That actually looks pretty good. It's a little cheesy because it's like I said, on every site everywhere, but I think I'm gonna do it. All right, so I'm gonna toss these numbers in these other sections, clone it one more time, center all this stuff. I actually don't want it to be middle aligned. Architecture, yeah, we could definitely do some sort of quote in here. 10 plus, I'm gonna just copy these text blocks. Oh, almost. Years of experience. I never get that word right. Experience. Yeah, you guys are saying it would be better to put a like a quote in there rather than just like a, you know, bunch of meaningless numbers. Basically, what was this other thing? Happy customers and awards won. I don't know what that is. 500 plus. Happy customers, yay! 5, let's see, let's go 15 plus. Awards. Awards won. Or like, Yeah, I don't know, something like that. I will say I wasn't into that idea of these, oh, is that not centered? Oh no, it's just the way that it highlighted. It looked a little weird. I will say I wasn't particularly into this idea with these numbers on there, but it does break up the sections pretty nicely and kind of keeps the site flowing. So I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I want to take a look at the responsive view and just make sure we don't have any glaring issues here. Oh, yeah, we do. So we got to fix that. We got to fix this right here. That won't be too bad. So it's this div that wraps these two things. So 1366, let's go ahead and drop it. So we're going to set this width to 100% and then the margin on the bottom to 15. OxySmart, thanks so much. Good to see you. All right, that fixed that. That is just an image, so we're not going to be able to fix that right now. We build your success, that looks good. What we offer, we need to get rid of those borders on the mobile view. So borders, unset, borders, unset. Hopefully that doesn't mess up the desktop version. I don't think it will. Let's see. Oh, it's because I did it on the ID too. I also have to remove the border from the ID since we were kind of testing that a little bit. Unless I'm doing the wrong div. It's not really like taking the border away that I want it to. Yeah, I don't feel like I don't feel like messing with that border right now. Sweet. I mean, it's pretty much good to go. Like, we need better content. We need some like, photos for the top of the homepage and stuff. But I'm really happy with how this is coming along. So I appreciate you guys sticking around in this. This has been fun. It's been almost 3 hours and we've gotten a lot done. So hopefully you guys have learned some stuff. I've certainly learned some stuff. That border is absolutely a bugger. This thing right here, the borders being weird right here and then also over here are just, not super ideal, like in the mobile view, but that's about it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. I definitely did. Let me look and see how many people we have. So we have had around 30 concurrent viewers, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is really, really awesome. What's our peak? 50. At one time we had 56 people watching. That's crazy. I really, really appreciate you guys sticking around. It's super, super awesome. And I will see you guys in the very near future. Have a good weekend. It's Friday. Hopefully you're doing something fun this weekend. And thank you guys so much for your help. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. If you guys want me to do this again in the future, definitely let me know and I'll find another project for us to do. Maybe something a little bit more complex, something like that. Until next time, see you guys later.